if I can be saved. See my heart, I decorated like a grave. Oh, you don't understand who they thought I was supposed to be. Look at me now, a man who won't let himself be. Down in a home, feeling so small. Down in a home, losing my soul.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to a Thursday mental health break show. We're going to discuss again. Yes, it is anxiety and depression, but we're going to do it a little different this time. And it's also a prelude to this weekend show with Matt Sinister, a little bit of behind the scenes stuff. And anxiety and depression is a big part of that show, as well as I did this also, ironically, as a celebration as well, because since these shows have been going on and we've been talking about it more in our community, I have seen many cases where anxiety and depression have been not completely taken care of, but where people have done much better with helping each other, and that's extremely important. And I'm doing great, Chris. Other than if you guys do hear it, it just started downpouring, so we are in the middle of a storm here. But I thought this was an important show. It's something we need to touch on. Unfortunately, this is one of those things that just never goes away completely. And every chance we get to have somebody new watch and listen and maybe get to them and understand and let them understand that, that reaching out is really important for both of these issues. Extremely important. And something we're getting better at the more we practice it. Oh, you got some new. Nice. I said I am actually going to do some reading tonight as well. I do have a couple of websites that I will put in chat as I read them, because they actually are going to be a little bit. There's something that you, not everything from every place you look is going to be beneficial to you, but these are some pretty basic websites that will help you understand the difference between anxiety and depression, even though a lot of times you have both. Got some good news. That's awesome, Christopher. And good news is always good, and that always helps as well. Hi, Tam. How are you doing tonight? So, that said, I'll get into this, and then we'll start discussing some of the great things that everybody's got going on. I want to hear what's going on with Christopher. I want to see how everybody's doing. And if anybody knows of anybody that does need a little bit of help, or if you yourself need some help, please speak up. We can actually change the stream at any point and deal with that, because that's what we try to do here. So we'll start with this. I do want to read a couple things because, like I said, I did find a couple articles that were pretty good. This one here had a good symptoms list, and I will put the link to it in chat before I get started. So if you want to read along, or if you're watching this in a replay or whatever, you can always take a look at this website, because it's not a bad one. I mean, each one has good stuff on it that it will apply to certain individuals. But here's some symptoms of, I'm pretty sure this is anxiety. Yeah, anxiety. I want to make sure I was on the right one. Feeling nervous or restless or tense. having a sense of impending danger, panic, or doom. Even if there's nothing going on, you just kind of feel like it's right there beneath the surface. Increased heart rate. I have this when I go to. I also have anxiety of hospital settings because of my son, and that'll go up. Rapid breathing, which actually can cause hyperventilation, sweating, trembling, feeling weak or tired. Sounds strange, doesn't it? Anxiety is going to make you feel weak or tired, but it's because you're just exhausting yourself. A lot of times with the feeling of panic or just the rapid breathing because you can't calm yourself down. Daytime Frank. Trouble concentrating or thinking about anything other than the present worry. You know, you can't think. You just can't function. I know quite a few people. I see a couple mixers in here already. You guys can understand this. If you're feeling anxiety, try to mix a mix when you can't think. You just kind of, your brain's a fog. That's a real sign. That's a sign of both anxiety and depression. But if you're feeling that anxious feeling with it, it's probably anxiety. And having trouble sleeping. I know I don't sleep when I'm feeling it, which is a problem of mine. Experiencing gastrointestinal problems. You actually can have, you can have diarrhea, you can have upset stomach, you can have gurgling sensations, you can have all kinds of weird, you can even be blocked up because of anxiety. Because you're really not, would you say knotting up, your intestines are knotting up? That's a real thing when you deal with it, severe anxiety. And having difficulty controlling your worries. And then having the urge to avoid things that trigger anxiety. It goes on to list like agoraphobia, fear of different locations. Like a lot of times agoraphobia is, most people think of it as leaving your house, because a lot of people, that's more agoraphobic, but it's fear of going to places. And then you got the crowd anxiety. There's a good list here of different things if you might want to try and figure out exactly what's going on with you. And yes, Chris, that is a very true thing. Obag. Yeah, when I lost my sons, when I really started having problems controlling it myself. As I said, there's a good website there. I just want to more go over the symptoms today, because we're going to get into a lot more of what people have done this weekend with Matt, because he wants to deep dive into that, and I think that's a great one to talk about. And there's a good thing on depression there too, but I actually kind of like this list from this website a little bit better for the depression side. And it does, this one distincts the two and separates them, so it's a little bit more, it's hard because like I said, a lot of people do, it says right here 41% of people deal with both. It's not one or the other, but you can't treat both necessarily at the same time. You can't help yourself with both. You have to focus on one or the other, and that's where that battle can become a long one. But the most important thing is to hang in there. Main symptoms of depression is typically a lingering low, sad, hopeless mood. And whereas anxiety is like an overwhelming feeling, like something, you feel like something's going to happen or something is happening you can't control. Anxiety, like Hobag is talking about, a lot of, it's a kind of a combo bag whenever you lose someone that's close to you. But the fears are like, after the fact, it's like, there's nothing you can do, but yeah, you still feel anxious, like something is going to happen or you need to do something. It's a tough spot to be in. And that can be for other things too. Don't think that just because you haven't had a personal loss of a physical person, losing a job can do that. Just losing a friendship, or even sometimes a place that you used to go visit with your friends, if that closes up or moves, that can actually cause extreme feelings. You got to find your new place. You got to find your new path. But these are just a couple of websites I'd actually recommend checking out if you're dealing with anything, or if you want to learn more about what other people are dealing with. And I just wanted to make sure that everybody's going to be doing okay. I suppose I can open it up. And it's going to still be a short show tonight, and it won't be a long after show, because this storm is supposed to get pretty bad here tonight. But oh, I actually have that. Hold on a second. I would have actually just sent that out again. Yeah, let's do a little celebrating too. So I'll let you guys come in if you want to, and we've seen it. If anybody's been paying attention, we've seen it on live shows. We have seen it in other areas where just people helping each other, and it's helping. You're not seeing as many people like. I'm sorry to call you out on this, Rajan, but saw Rajan Sagu in chat the other day, and it just was really good to see him to make sure he was okay. Because when you don't see people for a while, and I had this discussion with someone the other day. If you don't see someone for a while, you don't really know if they're okay, and it makes you nervous. And you can try and reach out to them, but sometimes you don't have that ability to reach out. What if it's someone you just see in chat like every week, and then suddenly they're not there? You worry, but there's not a lot you can do. It's like that's all you can do is worry. But remember that too. That if you haven't been in a place for a while and it's just because you're feeling kind of down, there's probably people there that are worried about you and care about you and want to make sure you're okay. It doesn't mean you have to get in, but it is nice to see people even if they just pop for just a few minutes. Pop in for just a few minutes. So, and I have seen people in our Discord that have actually doing way better. And they're not in there as much. They're in there, but they just kind of ghosting now because they don't feel the need to interact. That's okay. That's actually perfectly fine. That's what you call a support system. It's there when you need it. Yes, I can put them up in the description after the chat closes, Neon. So, Chris, you got something positive. It sounds like to talk about. You seem kind of a little excited.
I'll be with you in just 1 minute. Yeah, I just need to message somebody. Somebody just messaged me, so I'll tell you in a minute. Okay.
Yep, no worries. And Dave, how are you doing tonight?
Coping. How about you?
I'm coping. I was really thankful, by the way. Here's another thing I'll be thankful for is the people that joined me on Tuesday night when our regular show was canceled. So I decided I still felt like I needed to start my week off like normal with a mixing show, and you guys all joined me, and that was great. And for everyone who was able to come on, should have been more. I'm sorry, Tam. A couple of invites because Facebook wasn't working on my computer right. I think I fixed that today. I realized I used too many of my resources with the updates. My hard drive's starting to get a little bit full. So I dumped some stuff today. I shouldn't have that problem as much in the near future.
It was a good show. It'd be nice if you could do it every week.
Whoa. Dave, did you send me a... Oh, thank you, Dave. I haven't seen this. She had to show me. I didn't even realize there's a super chat there. I'm just not used to seeing them. Thank you, Dave.
No, thank you, Tim.
Yeah, I'm not used to seeing them, so it's weird to me. But yeah. So, Chris, what's going on that you're so excited about?
So, I've obviously, I don't know if people know on here. I've obviously got a new missus now. We've obviously done the old procedure, met, and I've been seeing her now for like 2 months. And she messaged me last week saying that I am going to be a dad.
If you're both happy about it, I'm extremely happy for you. And you know how you might worried before? We've had this discussion, you've analyzed. You feel like, you don't have somebody there in your life. The child's always going to be there. They're always going to be a part of your life. You're always going to have someone to care for and be there for. If you need us, yeah.
Because obviously she said to me, that last 2.5 weeks now, she's been feeling sick.
I can do that.
And when she's eating food, it's making her feel more sick, and she's craving for stuff what she doesn't eat. So what does that tell you? That tells you that she's pregnant, and obviously she said that I've got some good news for you, and obviously she's told me, and I'm gonna be a dad.
That's awesome. And they can't hardly hear you, and that's my fault. I have the desktop audio set up to this one because I don't ever stream without it. This should in fact fix that problem for everybody to be able to hear. I don't mind looking a little goofy with a headset. I'm used to it. Go ahead and speak again, Chris. That way they can really hear you.
So obviously,
There you go.
she
That's what.
obviously she was feeling sick for like 2.5 weeks, and then obviously when she was eating as well, she was feeling more sick. But then obviously I went to go see Sunday to Wednesday Tuesday this week, and yeah, she was wanting things what she's never, when women start to get pregnant, they start to get them cravings, don't they?
Yep.
So obviously, she was like, yeah, you're gonna be a dad and that, or like, I was shocked, but I was really happy at the same time. You know what I mean? Obviously, she's already a mum to her little boy, but obviously, yeah.
Thank you, Tam, by the way, for that little tidbit. No, I'm really, really happy to hear that. I was thinking it was going to be something completely different, but I had a feeling it had something to do with her. But I'm really happy for you, yeah. And, sorry about the sound thing. I forgot. I'm used to it always, whenever I stream, I always use the headset because I want to make sure there's not as much feedback. And completely forgot that it wasn't set up that way because I was just going to do the regular show, a nice short one, and just get it out there because this is more of a prelude for this weekend because I know we're going to deep dive into depression and anxiety, and I wanted everyone to have a reference in case they don't want to watch a really long deep show that has a lot to do with wrestling as well. They can go back and hit something important and a reminder to keep being there for one another and to reach out if you need it. It's hard. We tend to hold our feelings inside. And yes, it is more the guys and the girls, but not always. You do see girls that think, "Oh no, I can't do that because that shows weakness." Yeah. You don't always have to look like you're in perfect condition. We're human. But yeah, it was a fun, and I had a fun time the other night. Chris, did you catch any of the mixing live the other night at all?
Yeah, I catch it a little bit. I was with my missus going, bleh, bleh, so I couldn't really hear you.
Well, I appreciate everybody. The chat was going so fast. I'm not used to that either. The chat going so fast, I couldn't even keep up. It was actually quite fun, but it was different. It was definitely different. And thank you for those there. And like I said, Tam was going to be there, but my fault. My bad. First off, I thought Tam wasn't going to be able to be there because I thought it was late. And then when I sent out the invites to her and Adam, but then Adam asked again, I sent it to him a different way, and it worked. And I didn't even think to check and make sure Tam's went through because I was running late, mixing it up, and got listening to Overdrip talk and got carried away. So yeah, we have a good community here, and we should celebrate that. We should celebrate it more often. And even if someone's not a part of this community, doesn't mean they can't be a part of the mental health community. They're dealing with something. Help them out. Just like for those people that are still smoking, still at least acknowledge it and mention it to them. See if maybe they might be interested in less harmful alternative. It's important.
I don't know how they can smoke with prices these days of cigarettes. Wow.
I know.
I work, obviously, I'm a security guard, but obviously it's in retail, which obviously you call grocery shops over there. Over here we call it retail. And some of the prices, when I've walked past the till and people are paying like nearly £15-16 in mine, so I don't know what that is in dollars, for just 26. But then if you want in tobacco, like we can get over here like Amber Leaf and Gold Leaf and Golden Virginia, just for the smallest gram, 30 gram, you can be paying it at £20.
Yep. Yeah. No, that's actually probably
20,
right about spot on to our prices over here. It's pretty close. Depending on what you get, and you're talking even the generic brands, are extremely expensive now. And even if the cost isn't a factor, especially like right now, Chris, you want a good reason to keep going with vaping over smoking. raising your kids. Be there for them. Be there for your family. Be there for your
Yeah, well,
friends,
I am going to be there for 'em.
and be able to play with them. You don't even understand.
Yep.
Smoking can take a lot of time away from you and your children, and well, your nieces, nephews, friends. If you like to play sports, even softball or something on the weekends, or they've got a lot of those leagues and stuff like that around. Hard to do if you can't breathe. So it's all the ties together. Harm reduction is harm reduction, and
And
harm
when
reduction
you
can be
smoke, when you like I noticed as well when I was smoking because I suffer with asthma, it was making it harder for me to like get up pills and stuff like that. So obviously, I used to always have to take my inhaler. But now, as soon as I started vaping, I saw a lot more difference in that. You know, obviously, yeah, the nicotine's still in there for them cigarettes, but obviously, 2 to 3 weeks, once you start getting used to vaping, and then you feel more healthier inside, or I did anyway. And I want to have in my inhaler as much when I was walking on pills and stuff like that. Um, and yeah, like I take them disposable vapes to work, them 3,000, 4,000 puff disposables, and then I use that blue battered setup for what I've got. I use that at home, but most of the time now as well, I use my disposables as well because they've got a lot of puffs in them. And out of one of them like big bar things, it can last me up to 2 to 3 weeks.
I'm not sure if you deal with this either, but that's another reminder. That can be harm reduction for other things as well. If you feel anxiety, a lot of times nicotine can help anxiety. I know it sounds the reverse of what you hear all the time in the news, but in truth, if you're feeling anxious, sometimes that's what you need. Is you need that. I mean, a lot of people even drink coffee when they get anxious. Seems weird.
Yep.
You're going to elevate your heart rate, right? But it calms your mind, and that's where your anxiety is coming from. Is your mind. So it's important. Just do what's best for you, and if you can talk others, and talk to others and help them in any way, that's always a kind and proper thing to do. And this community, I've been extremely proud of it. I know Tam and Frank are both here. We're both here. I saw Frank a minute ago, and we've been a part of a lot of shows and stuff to help people. And not only that, but shows that not only help the person that's in need, but the people that are helping. That caring interaction, being able to be generous and help someone, that helps them more than they might even know, because it helps you feel good about yourself as well. So it's always just a healing circle. And then eventually, you get to a point where we're going to have to start a GoFundMe for Dave at some point for a second wing or another condo just for his flavorings at this point.
I just got about, it's got to be about 20 more.
Yeah. He's going to order a gallon of milk next week. It doesn't come in a bag, though. It comes in a bottle. I'm sorry.
There's some good flavors here. 1-on-1 chocolate milk. That sounds good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Blueberry pie. Bunch of others.
Another good flavor that, because of Tam, I got to try was that ultimate strawberry. It's good. It's very good.
Yep.
So and thanks to Tam sending me, that's just it too. You see so much generosity here. That's why you try to help people when they can get them started. You can help people, and Tam helped me a great deal. My old co-host Lightbearer sent me his DIY mixing stuff because he didn't want to sit and go to waste, and that was a lot. Don't get me wrong, it's not a small portion of flavors. There's 109 new flavors he sent me, plus some others I had. So it's that really expands and makes it so I can create recipes that maybe others can enjoy. It's part of the reason I love doing it. Jedi,
It's a lot of
good to
fun.
see you.
I'm mixing because it takes my mind off things. It makes me focus on something other than what causes anxiety. And so it's amazing.
Right.
I never would imagine in a million years what vaping's done for me. Never in a million years.
Like
we can
now
do
as
it,
well,
yeah.
I've seen a lot of UK vapors starting to mix their own juice because obviously you're getting like the 60 mils and the 120 over here, what we can get, and like the 250s and the 500 ones, they're quite a lot of money now just to buy. So a lot of people now are saying that to mix your own juice, it works out cheaper to do it, but also you get more
If
bottles or
and for
more different flavors that
those
you
are
can try.
interested in intermediate, in the UK as well, you have the I'm gonna get this
Mixing
name
with
wrong.
Benny, is it Ven?
No, yeah, Benny
Mixing.
Vase, but no, I was talking about the Liam opened up his shop for the with Zippy for the one
DIY
shots.
flavor chasers. Yeah.
DIY flavor chasers is in the UK now too.
How
So
is it?
it hasn't been utilized a lot yet, but for those that don't really want to completely mix, but yet want to save a little bit of money, all you gotta do is you get the one shot, and you can just add the VG, PG, and the nicotine, and you got yourself your, and you can usually get the, I mean, you get the Nick shots, so you don't even have to worry about measuring that out. You just mix it together.
Mixing
Yeah,
together. Yeah.
There's another cheaper way to try some really delicious flavors. I believe
Yeah,
I'm
they're
almost
about
positive one of Tam's one shots on there. I think it's actually her tobacco one shots on there. It's
It's about
supposedly really good.
$12 for in Canada. It's about $12 for a one shot, and it'll do between 170 and 200 ml,
Yeah, yeah.
which is
Oh,
good.
So
which
it's
is
the
really
equivalent of
good then.
buying two
Yeah.
full bottles, and it's a higher end than a lot of those cheaper e-liquids you get. So
Mm.
put that out there. I mean, I know Liam's just starting up, and he needs people to start noticing him there. But that's a big thing.
Do you know
got to save a
whereabouts
little
in the
money.
UK it is?
It's online. You can get it online.
Online.
Yeah, I don't have the link right here, but
I think it's something like DIYflavorchasers.co.uk, if I'm not mistaken.
something like that. And
Right.
here we're gonna do something really special here too, because I know someone else that might actually know what that is, and now she has access to post it, which I didn't realize she didn't have before. So Tam, you now have moderator status. So, but yeah, it's another way to go if you're not really into fully mixing, but you can enjoy mixing to the level of having a really high end quality liquid that you are kind of putting together yourself, but you're just saving a little bit of money just by putting components together that are easy to do.
Mhm.
Cookie Chow, that's the one. I knew Tam had one over there that was already over there because not all of the flavors have all the one shots have moved over yet. I mean, if as he builds up inventory, he'll be able to get more in. So that's the
Right.
plan. So, but it's something that needs to be talked about a little bit, or no one will really realize it's there. It's like, don't forget, Zippy still has that on her site as well, and I think it's forgotten about. You know, with everything else going on, we focus on, oh, we can't get our commercial liquids. Well, there's an alternative to that. You don't have to go full out DIY either. So
Mhm.
there it is. Thank you, Tam. So, and no, we're not sponsored by them here. So, not sponsored by anyone here. So, I purposely do that because I don't want to feel. When I share this kind of thing, it's actually because I care about these other companies. I want them to succeed. They have good things about them. That's the only reason I stand behind them. Same with Uncle Chris has got UT testing grounds in Canada now. He opened up legit. The lab puts it together, but it's his mixes. We have Sifu.
They're pretty good.
The other day.
They're
Sifu
good. I got his line.
Yeah, Sifu was on the other day. And Sifu, his mixes are good. I can just see his mixes when he makes them. He's a really good mixer.
His root beer is awesome. Seafood's root beer. Oh my God, that's good.
So there are alternatives if people want something a little better than some of the cheap DIY, cheap commercial liquids. Just remind people of that, because it seems like, you see the people trying to jump into DIY scene, but you see them hop in and they're like, I'm not sure if I want to do that. Well, there's something you do in the meantime. And then if you get used to mixing like that and you want to make something of your own, it's a good way to kind of wet your feet and get into it. And yes, that can help anxiety. As Dave said, doing things like that. I know M. Turk has mentioned it many times publicly, so I don't mind saying it. he used coil building and stuff to keep and vaping to keep him off heavy drugs, dealing with an addiction, a real addiction, worse than cigarettes, and it worked for him. See someone be able to do that, and he's not the only one in the community that did that. We've got a few coil builders that, for the same reasons, got into that because it keeps their hands busy, keeps them busy, keeps them focused, and it's something they care about and they love doing. I mean, yeah, and this is the part of the vape community that never even gets talked about because they're so worried about legislation all the time.
I'll see this. That's about 3/4 of a liter of Wendy's cheesecake milkshake. That's about 200 ml of just a base milkshake, and it's amazing because you just throw anything into it, and you got a great vape, strawberry, blueberry, whatever. It's amazing.
Yep.
Where do you get the bigger bottles from? Like the empty big bottles, where do you get them from?
Amazon.
Amazon.
They're, you know what they are? They're ketchup bottles.
Yeah.
Ketchup and mustard bottles. So they're perfect to make a big amount. Like I'm using them for the milkshake base, but I'm also using them for just a pre-mixed 3 milligram nicotine base. So
I used
have a
them for
bunch.
my VG and PG for the longest time. Those exact bottles until John sent me the ones with the sriracha top, and these ones actually have a nice redrainable.
Yeah, that's
one.
nice. That's nice.
These are the ones from Nicotine River, actually, is where they're from.
Oh,
And
yeah.
he sent me an extra empty bottle that I use to make I don't normally do the 70-30, 80-20 premix, but I did because why not? It makes it a lot easier to mix.
Yeah.
When I'm mixing live, I just can dump the one in. And I mean, it doesn't make that big a difference as long as I'm dripping. Where you really matters your PG-VG mix is when you're using a tank. Any type of top-filled tank. If you're using RDTA, not that important. But if you're using a tank where it actually has to go down to wick up and you're worried about leaking, then you got to worry about your PG being thick enough and thin enough. So it matters a little.
Yeah, the bottom airflow RTAs you got. Like I'm running 2 of them right now, and you gotta be careful. Well, one of them anyways, the Steam Crave.
As well as we want to take a little anxiety away, you do realize if you are DIYing, if anybody here is watching at this point and is interested in DIYing, if you live in a warm climate, say you live in Florida where it's always warm, maybe mix it a little bit thicker. If you're used to using a 60-40 for your tank or 70-30, go up by 10. See if maybe you get a little less leaking issues. It might not be your wicking. It might be the fact that your liquid's thinner because of the heat. Same with the opposite. If you live in Canada or the northern states like I do and Dave does, you might want to thin it a little bit in the wintertime because it'll actually make it wick better.
Oh, I get it. Just and it happens fast. Just walking from my condo across the parking lot into my car in the winter screws everything up. And vice versa in the summer, yeah.
Hey, Frank. No, but it's good that, this community means a lot to me, and it's amazing to see what this community has done. It just really is. And a happy birthday yesterday too to Mr. Nick Green. Yesterday was his birthday, and someone else important too, Beecher's birthday yesterday as well. And that's something we don't always do. I don't always do the birthday thing, but you remember, if anybody's having a birthday in chat, we will shout out. I'm not going to be mean enough to sing to you because I'm not that cruel. I have enough compassion to know that my singing absolutely sucks. Now, if Adam was on here with me, I'd say, Adam, please sing for us because he's actually got a good voice. But yeah. Oh, Tam was asking where you're from, Dave.
Yeah, I'm answering now.
Oh, okay. But yeah, anxiety and depression can be treated. The biggest and most helpful thing you can possibly do is create a safety net. We here, as regular parts of the vape community, as regular parts of even the mental health community, I've kind of pushed together a little bit because we have a few people in my Discord that aren't vapors. Not many, but we have a few. And if someone who's coming in and watching this right now, don't think this is all about vape. this is about community. This is about anxiety, and we, this community is caring the way it is, they will help you. If you even have a doubt about that, then message me. That's fine. Join the Discord, the Break the Stigma of the Unity Discord, and I'll do the best I can to try and help you through the tough times. I always try. I mean, I can't guarantee I'll be a help, but I do my best.
Tim, did Raj reach out to you? Because I saw it on your Discord that you were feeling a bit down or something, weren't you?
Who?
Raj.
Rajan?
Rajan, yeah.
Oh, a while back. We talked a while back. Yeah. It was just really good to see him back. Because, again, he kind of went away. But when he left, he seemed like he was starting to do a little bit better. So I wasn't super worried. But when you don't see someone for a while, you're just like really happy to see them again.
I saw him other day on Lethal Zoom, but only for a little bit.
Yeah, it's when I don't see people, I worry. I don't always have the opportunity to speak out about it, and I don't always want to put people on the spot, but that makes a difference when you do see them, though. We saw someone in, because of the Tuesday show, the mixing show, some people popped up that haven't seen a long time. And weirdly enough, on my channel, which is really strange. And that was actually kind of nice to see. Because, some of these people walk away and they don't come back for a while. And even if they're just coming back just to check out something, it's still good to know that they're still around and doing okay.
Yeah, that's why I want you to come on, because I haven't been around for a while. But now you know why I haven't been around for a while.
Yeah, but this not coming on for a while is a good reason. Yeah. Yeah, so another time there you weren't coming on the lives, you were in the chat but not speaking a lot or coming on, and that was for a different reason, and we understand that's tough. I mean, you do at your level of comfort. You don't want to make yourself more anxious by pushing too hard, but you do have to push a little bit to reach out. It's not easy because it feels like the last thing you want to do, but as soon as you do it, you realize it was the best thing you could have done.
Yeah, you feel good in yourself, yeah.
Yeah. And, if it's a holiday, a reminder, or PTSD moment, whatever, you might not even know why you're feeling down. It could just be something subconscious or something you just don't understand. It doesn't matter. It just matters we're here for each other.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true too, Frank. Yeah, the Saturday show had some people too, and it's good to see them. It's so exciting. I mean, you don't even see it. Even in the after shows, we'll talk about it. We'll be like, did you see who was there? It's like, I haven't seen them in forever. And that's how excited we get as casters as well. Something you don't get to see when you're in chat. We don't talk about during the shows, but it does happen. We get excited to see the people we haven't seen in a while. Yeah, well, technically it was just a filler fee, but I mean, you'll probably see a few pop up here and there. It won't be necessarily a weekly thing, because if anybody, well, I know Dave knows because he watches most of most of the shows I'm on. My dance card's fairly full. I'm recording tonight for the podcast, so that's just, my day is not over when I'm out of here tonight. Even though, unfortunately, I mean, it's fortunate and it's unfortunate. No vlog tonight. Kind of miss it because it throws off my week a little bit, but really happy that he took the time off for his birthday time and is going to be at home doing stuff. So, Nick, you have a great birthday week. Deserve it. Advocacy thing really can tear you down if you don't take a break too. And I know he's not taking a break. That's the worst part. He doesn't. You watch him. He's still Twitter every night. I see like 50 tweets every night. It's hard to walk away.
I hope he takes care of himself, because it'd be a shame to lose him.
Yeah. No, he's doing good. I'm some of the comments he made the other day. I know he's fine. He's doing well. And it was nice to have him on for the advocacy show. Like I said, we're going to try and do that quarterly, and it might even be possibly the same people if possible. It's looking like it's possible. We're going to add people. There's a couple of people that couldn't make it that day that wanted to be there. But, yeah, I want to do that quarterly, and quarterly is about the right amount of time. It's enough to get ideas out there, get things flowing, but it's not so much as causing burnout. I don't want to do it like once a month. I thought about it first, like, nope, that's a little too much because you're, especially when you're talking about people that are heavily into advocacy, dealing with the stress of it already. You don't want to push it too much.
It'd be nice
It's-
if you can get some people from other countries, because let's face it, like we've had this conversation many times. Everything that happens in the U.S. affects other countries.
Yep, it does. I wish it were kind of the way with the UK. The UK thing should push that over here, please. Somehow we got to figure this out. But our government's like, no, that doesn't help our paychecks. So,
That's the problem. But countries, maybe I don't know, Bogan, Steve from Legion Vapes,
yep.
maybe some UK advocacy people as well. Maybe
got-
Dave from Dash Vapes in here in Canada.
Yeah,
Maybe
and Dave and
Janine
I have-
Timmons.
Dave knows me fairly well. We haven't talked
Yeah,
to him
so
about either.
reach out to him. Reach out
Yep.
to him. Janine Timmons.
Bree Stones too is another one. He really did a great job helping out with the whole Australian situation.
Yeah.
Like him and Legion did a lot. Bree Stones did I didn't expect it. How much he stepped forward during that time and helped out. And that's the kind of thing that's another thing. We don't see people we don't have the money like we talked about before. We don't have the money that the antis have. So
Yeah.
what we do is our word of mouth and people that actually care that are pushing things forward. It's always about caring. You notice that's what the community is based on. Not the average person that grabs, goes into a convenience store and picks up, a disposable like once or twice a week. That's not the person that we're really going to see step forward. They're never going to, because they just want their convenience of grabbing it. And then when they can't get it, they'll be like, I guess I'm going back to smoke. That's just going to be the attitude. And it's unfortunate, but that's where most of the vapors actually are. But the ones that are hobbyists, we know different. We're a closer knit group. I think that when you get down to DIY, that's even a more knit group. There's more caring. There's more even tighter. And it does that. Is like you get the wide group, nice, and then you get the more. You find the core.
Yeah, because everyone's picking each other's brain.
Yeah, you find the core. You got to think when the people are in business for stuff, they have to be a little bit cutthroat. Even if you're not kindly cutthroat, you still want to worry about your bottom line. But when you have nothing on the table except for just trying to help one another, it's
That
kind of
makes
a
all the
freeing feeling.
difference.
It's a
You're
freeing
right.
feeling.
That makes all the difference.
I mean, and we are unique as well as we can support some of these people that actually still do things. You got Amatorium liquids out over in the UK. You have others as well. You have Nevins as well, and you have a few others that you can do. You can get out there and you can reach out to these people, and you can find their liquids, and as well as they help the community. Sifu and Overdrip, same situation. Clown as well. KVTV, he has his own line. It's unique when you can actually support these people and help them out a little bit at the
Right.
same time as they're constantly helping you for free.
Yeah, I ordered Sifu's juices as much to try them as to support him, and I'm glad I did.
I just the recipes he's released in the times we've talked. He's a good mixer. He's a very good mixer. He mixes like I do. He likes to bend those flavors, not just put them together, but we like to bend our flavors. See what we can do. Try it. Trial and error. And we've worked on a couple things on the side there where we've talked and kind of helped each other figure things out. That's how I got started, was just got to give one to give away on his channel, which is only because Anthony Romello was kind enough to give up both. He would have had both wins. He gave up one so someone else could win. I won it. And that's how I got started with mixing.
Mm-hmm.
And look where I am now. I never would have expected this. It blew up. Now I've got over 500 flavorings, so and that's not including the ones I can't even put on there because they're unique and still in beta. So I don't know.
Nice. Yeah, that I mixed up your Raz Boys, and you were saying bending the flavors. I was wondering why apricot, and it was so little. It was 0.06 grams. What is that? Like 2 drops?
But what did it do to that raspberry and the raspberry and the boysenberry? big difference. Big
Yes.
difference.
I'm looking
That
for.
I can't even take credit for that. Gotta give that to Fresho 3. He told me about using the apricot because I didn't have the strawberry syrup or raspberry syrup.
Okay.
One or the other, I can't remember which.
Raspberry.
It was raspberry syrup, and he talked to me about that. Well, you got the apricot. You got apricot, right? And I said, yeah. He goes, use that, and then I used that, and then I tried the other apricot and realized that's an even different flavor altogether. Like you can do that same thing if you want to try to next time. Try it a little different and have it be a brighter flavor. Instead of that apricot, just replace that apricot, same percentage with the VSO. Completely different monster with that. Just a touch of
Really?
different flavor. Yeah, it'll make
Oh.
it brighter. This makes it more juicy. The other one makes it like a brighter, more like citrusy note almost.
I will do that.
It's amazing how much one little 0.25% can change a flavor entire mix.
It is amazing because I mean it's virtually nothing, and it makes a huge difference.
Yeah, feed, signing positions. It all matters. The more we
Look-
can do, the better we're off. Same thing I keep on telling you guys. If you're in the U.S. or any, I don't know if Casal only covers the U.S., right?
Yep.
Yeah. You can sign up. It can not only can you do the call to actions that'll show up for you, but you can also preemptively you'll get a list of emails and stuff like that and contact information for your representatives. You can send your story to them at any time. You can send them something. Just be kind. That's the time to be kind because you're not on the wire. Get them thinking and do it periodically, not like don't repetitive it to the point where it's like every other day they get one because then it becomes monotonous. They kind of ignore it. But if every few weeks to a month, a couple months, you send them something, it'll start. And I'm thinking in the back of my mind, people care about this, and it's not just because something's on the wire. That's how we're gonna win people over more often than not. Versus, oh well, I got 3,000 emails or 10,000 emails right now. 3 days before an omnibus bill. Oh, I don't have time to read those. You know, we can't let it get to that point before they know that we care. Yeah, see, that's it too, Fee. Different apricots. I'm telling you, as far as the apricot trick for like sweetening up your berries, it works for any of the red berries. Kind of like boysenberry or what's the other one? Boysenberry and bilberry. For a lot of people use for the blueberry. You can use it for your blueberries and your blackberries to give you different notes. And it's the same thing. Boysenberry will give you a little bit more of a darker sweet note, and bilberry gives you a little bit more of that bright note. It's similar to what different apricots will do. The more ripe the apricot, the more sweeter it'll be and more juicy. It's fun. Yeah, Tam could teach more than classes. She could actually start at a university. You kidding me? Tam kind of likes her apricot, but yeah. Oh, we lost Chris. Well, thank you, Chris, for joining. You can join again if you want. It's great news for him. I'm happy to hear that for him. He looks happy, which means it's a good thing. It's when you look in panic. That's when we worry because it's like, oh, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Yeah, apricots. I actually like it even more. Apricots even more. I like them in smoothies, but I'll make my own smoothies with apricot. Usually frozen apricot I'll just get. So yeah, I
funny,
don't want to go.
So I was just going to say just that just talking about mixing and vapor-related stuff just reduces my anxiety level dramatically.
Yeah, anyone else in chat feel that too? Feel like the mood drops when you just start to talk about something that
Makes you happy.
feels good. It makes
Yeah.
you happy.
Yeah. I mean, I come home to some pretty tough things, and I'm telling you, 100% vaping keeps me going. It does, 100%.
I did not know that, Fee, but now you got me interested. I'm truly interested. A lot of South African desserts have apricot back notes.
Well, things like that would make sense because wherever a certain fruit or, whatever is prevalent, it would end up getting used in dessert, like maple up here. There's
Yep.
maple everything, blueberry everything, strawberry everything, cherry everything.
The maple cottage cheese was not a go. Tried it. No, that does not work. Saw it in there. I
Nope.
was like, okay, I gotta try it. Tried it. Nope. No, that's not for me. And I like maple and everything. I thought, but the maple cottage cheese that Hood put together was not good.
Was it too fake tasting?
Oh, it was like real maple syrup, but it's like, think of like it like extra curdled taste to the. It didn't taste
Oh.
like cottage cheese anymore. It tasted like curdled mixed with sweet. It didn't
Ugh.
work for me anyway. I mean, to each their own. Everybody's taste is subjective. Someone else probably thought that tasted delicious. Couldn't get enough of it. It's not me.
No. I mean, taste is very subjective, right?
Yep.
Not.
See ya,
I
Chris.
I love spicy food, and
Chris.
really spicy food.
Tell the other half hi for me, please. Thank you. Yeah, Tam is very mean to Frank. I've seen it. Not really, but the meanest thing Tam does is tell Frank what flavors he should buy, and then he buys them, and then he's like, "You squirreled me again." You know, we see a lot of this. Zippy squirreled me a few times. Liam squirreled me a few times. Tam squirreled me a few times. Let's see. Oh, Frank has too a couple times. There's a couple of flavors he mentioned.
I want to try to make some savory stuff. Like I was thinking about a BLT. I think that'd be
try.
cool.
You can try.
Yeah.
There's a few tricks there that we can talk about later when you do it. If you have something that's going on, there's different things you can do, or talk to different people in the community here that know how to bend those flavors. Talk to Swaggy directly too on how to bend that bacon, because that
Yep.
bacon is more of a hickory, and you can actually get more of the like fatty out of it. One of those tricks, the avocado might work. I've heard that works. I just don't know if it'll work with the bacon. So you got to
that.
see.
Yeah.
You might trial and error.
I'm trying to find a lettuce
Tom.
and mayonnaise, so I don't know how I'll get around that.
Well, that's just it. Trial and error. You figure it
Yeah,
out.
because I have the bacon, have the tomato, just have to figure out lettuce and mayo, and maybe bread. Like,
I have a thought I don't want to get into too much because it'll sound like a weird one, but I'm kind of wondering if you bend it right at the right percentage, you might be able to use something like the condensed milk, because that's got almost like a buttermilk taste to it. If you bend that right, that might help both.
you need something
Maybe.
sweet and something, maybe a lemon, a slight lemon, because there is lemon in mayonnaise.
Yep. Yeah, that's
Very
the,
slight.
that's what stops it from turning. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's,
very. I think that I've always wanted to try savory. Like I've heard people in Eastern Europe, they have more savory juices than we do over here. Like fried chicken, I've heard of that, fried chicken, and a few other things. I think it would be cool to try.
I've got Swaggy's chicken and dumplings. Open it up,
That'd be-
it smells like a can of chicken soup. I swear. That's what it smells like when you open it up and smell it. Chicken soup.
And how does it vape?
Kind of like chicken soup. It does. Yeah. It's okay. I mean, it's like the condensed chicken soup. I mean, is it something I want to like daily? No. Is it something I can handle for a little while? Yeah.
Okay.
But it could be a base for something else too. You know, you can use that as a stone to throw in there and try and work off of it and create another savory. Is the limit? That's the thing about DIY. It's limitless. And Swaggy's actually, I know I go to Swaggy a lot, but that's because he actually has went that route. He has a lot of savory flavors you can play with, and some of those savory flavors can be used in, like the drink mixes that Larry does. He uses some of those savory flavors because a lot of times in drink mixes you have them. They wouldn't be in. They're not always readily available.
Oh, has Larry ever made like a Bloody Mary or a Bloody Caesar or something like that? That'd be cool.
I can't remember if he did or someone had made a recipe for him, but I know there's a Bloody Mary recipe somewhere.
That'd be cool. I mean, I don't drink, but when I go to restaurants, I'll order a virgin Bloody Caesar, and they're delicious.
I mean, you could probably do a fairly decent one just out of Swaggy's flavors, though.
I'll try that.
Trying to think, because you got the chili.
I have that.
If you want a little extra spice and different kind of tang to it, I mean, I've had Bloody Marys with jalapeno in it before, and you got the jalapeno there too. You got the tomato.
Yep.
I mean, you got
Have
celery.
jalapeno.
You got celery. You got celery as well.
Yeah. That'd be good. That'd be really yummy.
Yeah, the Spanish rice juice actually is, to me, is really good. Lady Liberty doesn't like the onion, so if I drop the onion out of it, she might be okay with it. Because the onion, using a little bit of the small amount of brown sugar, like Swaggy suggested, I won't take credit for that. Putting a little in there to darken up the fruits, because I felt like tomato felt like just fresh tomato, and you don't want that in your Spanish rice. And it did a great job on all the rest, but the onion tastes like it's a little undercooked in it, but it's still there. And to me, it was something I could vape all day, and I did not expect that. I thought it was gonna be a savory. Let's see if it tastes okay. And I was like, it's okay, it's okay. And then like 5 hours later, I'm still vaping the same thing. It's okay.
I love onions. I can eat an onion like an apple.
And don't forget, you can use that onion and garlic and all these flavorings that Swaggy makes too. You can use it in your cooking.
Yeah.
I know Adam has used the garlic a few times.
Oh, there's Addie.
I see Addie. Love Addie. Lethal's here too. It's great seeing everybody. And yes, anxiety and depression, do whatever you can to do it. Whatever makes you happy, do it. And if you were part of a community and you might not even realize it, like we talked about tonight. We started talking about DIY. It helps you with your anxiety, helps me with mine. Excuse me. And that kind of thing, you might not even realize it at first, that you're feeling better. But if you do start to notice that, try to pay attention. If you feel these moments where you're feeling better, something might actually be a new hobby that you might want to join or you like. And you're not even realizing how much it makes a difference. And how much it would help maybe to embrace that a little bit more.
Oh, I realized. That's why you see me on every single show. Because it keeps me sane. I live with some big issues, and it helps me tremendously.
Yeah, and again, Tom. Tom's another one that has you can get a hold of if you want some liquids. Sorry, Tom, I had to say it because I kind of love. He's got a nice shamrock cookie flavor too. You tried it, didn't you, Dave? Did you?
Shamrock cookie? No.
Oh, someone tried it not long ago, and they loved it too. And I guess he's got a newer version. It's a little bit different. I have a feeling where he went with it because I was thinking the same thing. Tom sent them to me to try, and also sent the flavorings so I could make more of it. That was just and stuff. So thank you, Tom. That was quite a while back, a long time back. But no, it's appreciated. Every little bit of help we give each other, it's more appreciative than I think anyone knows. No, trust me, the kindness has been repaid tenfold just in this community alone. Oh, great. Now the moths and stuff are starting to come out. You notice that? You open the door, they'll come right in. It's raining outside, so they'll push all the bugs, try to get inside.
We have a thing up here this year I've never even heard about. What's it called? Snow mold. Have you ever heard of that?
No.
Never heard of that. So as the snow is melting, it's leaving behind mold patches on all the lawns, and it's creating crazy allergies with everybody.
My allergies have been kicking in. If anybody's watched lately, me blowing my nose a lot, that's not me being sick. It's allergy season's already started. The pine trees have already started dropping their pollen a little bit.
Okay, because like I walk out of work, instantly I start sneezing and sneezing and sneezing. And I don't know, I haven't checked to see if the grass has got mold on it or anything, but
that's weird though. Snow mold. That makes sense.
I've never heard of
if
that.
You get the right conditions where the moisture's not going away and you have enough heat.
Yeah,
it could happen. As long
never
as
heard of it. This is the first time I ever heard of it. And now we have a big,
Christy,
we have a big problem with a lot of the waterfowl here are carrying Asian bird flu.
Again?
Yeah. So they found it in the Canada geese, and they found it in the ducks.
Christy, in some cases, it's either because you want to bend a flavor and just a little bit, like you have a flavor you really like, but you really want DIY. Like in Tom's case, I can say Tom's does not kill my coils as bad as the Sad Boy flavor. That's a big plus. But yeah, and the other thing is whether or not they're going to be there tomorrow, especially here over in the States. We don't know if you're sure you're going to be able to get that. How long you're going to be able to get anything. So sometimes an attempt at sort of a clone or a replacement is important. So it's not so much to try and go against them and try and find their recipe and sneak off with it. A lot of times there's actually good reasons for it as well. In the States here, if we can't, tomorrow we can't get our commercial liquids and we have a favorite and we have no idea how to make it, our favorite liquid, then we have to suffer through it and, preemptively, try and figure it out while you can still taste the original liquid and not just going off memory.
I imagine there'll be a lot of that.
Yeah, and we've seen more of that. But yeah. I know there's a time when it's a different thing. Everybody's trying to figure out each other's flavorings. But now I think it's more, we want to make sure our favorites are still there. We want to make sure we still have an availability of something that's a replacement. I know Michelle Lynn was, for the longest time, looking for her replacement for her clove liquid. And she had Fresh and everybody trying to figure it out, and Addie all trying to figure out how to replace it because it was supposed to go away. And it turns out it hasn't gone away yet. It was still there. She still prefers to get it and half it or whatever she does to make it the way she wants it. But she has some others, some DIY to fall back on in case that ever happens and she loses. She has some that she actually really liked. So she has backups.
That's exactly what I did. Prior to starting to mix myself, I stocked up on a good year's worth of my ADV juice. Because who knows, in Canada, you think it's bad with an omnibus bill. Up here, they don't care. Done. Well, next week, there's no more rebuildables. Next week, there's no more any nicotine above 20 milligrams. Next week, who knows what. And they've been talking.
That ban bill after the 9/11 thing, that one whole province or whatever, just like a big province too, just completely like banned. Like
Nova Scotia banned. I don't know which province you're speaking of, but as far as I know, Nova Scotia has completely banned vaping.
It might have been Nova Scotia I was thinking about. I just remember there's a big, huge area Canada banned. And nothing actually happened here at that point. It's just they went right on board with the news and just jumped the gun.
Boom, done. Yep. Done. And when my uncle passed away in September, I went down to Prince Edward Island, to see the family. And PEI is getting ready to ban everything. So I went into a vape store there, and they were just liquidating everything. It was sad. Yeah. I mean, I took advantage of it because, there's some things I needed, but it was sad. I felt bad, Yeah. Because like people like us and all the other people that are on this show watching it probably be able to keep going. It's all the smokers that won't be able to quit because there'll be nothing there for them to quit with.
Yep.
That's the really sad part.
And if anyone wants an interesting twist, like talking about bending flavors, Addie has tried it. I know Deb22's tried it, but my Eau de Glace blueberry cake, it's not the same. I didn't want it to be the same. I wanted it to be something more me. And honestly, in my opinion, but my own personal opinion, for my taste, I prefer my version over theirs a little, but I do like their blueberry cake. So I made mine, and Addie likes to call it more of a blueberry jelly roll, but more than the cake, because I made the blueberry a completely different way, and I did that on purpose, and I'm not sure if I've seen any other recipes use the blueberry anywhere near like that. So it's kind of a unique one, but it's really good, and after a long steep, it's even better.
Daytime Frank was saying Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland all have bans. And the funny thing is, you know what really pisses me off, makes me want to scream, is the fact that they do nothing against cigarettes. You can get cigarettes at every corner store there. And Nova Scotia, you want to talk expensive? They're like pushing $20 a pack.
If you suddenly see the title of today's show, anxiety. There you go.
Yeah,
there's
there
a trigger. And government is if you care about something and the government's impeding it or potentially going to impede it, that's an anxiety. And an anxiety doesn't have to be something that's going to happen tomorrow. Like, you don't know when or if anything's going to happen in Canada. But you know it's potentially possible, especially if the U.S. does something first.
Knowing the Canadian government, and I've seen them do the wackiest things. They won't give any notice. That's the thing. They won't even give people time to prepare. It'll just be done. But yet,
Yep.
cigarettes are everywhere.
Yeah.
It's maddening, and they
And
don't
a-
listen.
And a Hail
Sorry.
Mary like our first DC rally. That was a Hail Mary that did pay off. Paid off. Noticed enough to the point where he said, "Oh, I got to do something," so I give it T21. But he didn't want to do anything. Just wanted to like forget about it. But already locked in, had to show the the anti something, all the Karens. So he gave him the T21. But he noticed enough. We made enough of a show right there that he changed his mind to the way he was approaching it. That doesn't happen often. We could gather in 10 times the strength and be ignored. 100,000 times that strength online 3 days before an omnibus bill, they're probably never going to read any of those emails. I mean, I'm just being realistic here. I'm not saying that they didn't. Maybe they did. I would hope they did. But the chances are very unlikely that they were more worried about that bill passing to get paid than they were caring about whether or not they read all their emails at the time. So, and that's unfortunate. We can't do that. We got to be more proactive. We got to do that. And that's something we can work on to help with our anxieties in the future. Let's work on that. Yeah. Yeah, that's true too, Frank. Give him credit for that and for having to sit next to someone you couldn't stand, which actually was probably our biggest benefit because what's his name out there? The Jess Marie State. What's his name? Can't stand the guy sitting next to him. Was driving Trump nuts during that whole first meeting. What?
Was it Mitt McConnell or whatever?
The religious nut one.
Yeah, Mitt.
Is it Mitch
Yes.
Mitch or whatever? But
What's it? Mitt Romney, maybe?
Mitt Romney, that's it. Yeah. But that's it.
Yeah, he's
Frank
he's
Setzer.
another piece of work. Him, you know.
Told you Mitt.
We have a lot of them.
The guy's house is worth more than you and I and 100 people make in a lifetime.
And we look at this and we see this corruption in our government, yet the masses are complacent. They don't care.
Well,
And
because
But they weren't. Previous to the pandemic, you started seeing people gather for their beliefs, not just the vape community. Other people were gathering for their beliefs and sticking up and gathering in big crowds. Pandemic happened. Hey, how long can we drag this out?
well, the pandemic, sure, it could put a lid on things for good reasons and bad, but
Yeah, good and bad.
part
Yes.
of the problem too is, I mean, look at police forces around the world. They look more like the military than they do actual community policing. When the frickin' police have tanks, I mean, there's a problem.
The police
You
here
know?
did. They actually
They do. They
went
here
in
too.
on
They
went
have-
in on a guy had a gun and was shooting it off right here in Claremont, New Hampshire. They went in there. It's a little mini tank thing to knock down the door. They have one here. I didn't even know they had it until that day.
They have APCs. The
It was
police
right,
have APCs.
It was right behind the vape shop, like up that road. It was right near the vape shop.
So, I mean, do you really need an APC? Really? I mean, come on.
We're talking a small little town. It's considered a city, but it's a town.
When
It really has one main street and a couple little side streets. That's all there is to it, as far as that's not rural. housing.
I don't know. Something shifted. Something shifted in the last, I'd say, 50 years, because my uncles were cops in Montreal, and
Thank you, Addie.
they didn't show up with like a military force when something was going. They just showed up and they talked. And I remember there's one story. This gentleman that used to live near me, he was ex-airborne in Korea, and he came back fucked up. Let's put it that way. And like, my uncles were cops then, and like, they just go. He'd be standing on the corner in his underwear, just howling, and they just walk up to him, start talking to him, and then they get him to go home. They didn't shoot him. They didn't taser him. There wasn't any tasers back then, but they didn't do any of that. And that has to happen again. Now, the first thing you see cops showing up, they got their weapons out.
Yep.
So it's already escalated.
Frank
That
is
has to
saying that
change.
the criminals have military style weapons too. They have though. They've had military style weapons.
And
The
that's not
difference
going to
is
change.
the difference is the fact that it's the way they're treated. If they're the whole thing is hostage negotiators don't work like they used to. They see an opportunity to go in there with force, they'll just do it if they think they can do it without civilians getting in the way, because it's quicker and easier, more efficient. It's not always the people that come first,
No,
and
well, no.
that's where we're starting to go wrong. But
When the
yeah,
SWAT team show up with 50 cal sniper rifles, they're on the roofs surrounding whatever's going on. You know, it's not going to end well for and everybody. You know,
not likely. Yeah, but again, it's a mentality thing. We got to we can change the world that way too. It's just going to take a long time. Are we going to get it in our lifetime? Probably not. But can we get a good start? By trying to keep a level head in situations, doing our best despite. I mean, look at the vape community. Well, how much have we been beat down over the past? Well, pretty much since vaping started. But we've been beat down, especially in the U.S. lately with things, and other places even worse. I would say especially the U.S. There's others that don't even have access legally. But yet we're still there, and we haven't seen any violent reactions. The violent reactions are like kids being tased for vaping,
that's ridiculous.
but you're not seeing retaliation in a violent way.
But you
That's
will. I mean,
but that's what
you
you're
will.
seeing. But we haven't yet, which shows we have more of a constitution against violence than they do.
That boy that got just recently got tasered. What do you think his reaction is going to be the next time he sees a cop? And what if one day, I don't know,
You ever heard the group NWO? I have a feeling like, yeah, that's the kind of mentality he's going to have from now on.
yeah. And can you blame him?
No.
If a cop tased me for no reason, no good reason, because he's vaping in a skate park, you know, more likely that to be smoking dope in the skate park. You
Oh,
know?
that's okay
Uh,
though. We know
yeah,
that.
well,
We know what's in that, right? I don't know. It's crazy. It's not fair.
no, it's not.
Yeah.
It's not fair at all. And I think it's going to take something happening to someone that's got pull. Like if I don't know, if someone vaping and they happen to taser him and it happens to be a vet, happens to be a decorated vet.
And we need to
Maybe
get
that.
people voted in. We need to vote and actually stand up and vote unanimously as we possibly can. Find candidates that fit the bill for our beliefs. My core belief, is more basic than just vaping. It's personal rights, personal freedoms. If you're not affecting someone else, your personal freedom, your choice should come first. And even if there is a thing, let the states do their own thing. That's the way it's designed, the way it is. If you have something specific that the state has an issue with, let them deal with it. Federal government doesn't even need to get involved in it. Why is the federal government getting involved in this anyway and starting this? For one, they can't police it unless the states agree anyway. So why are they even doing it? Why are they even touching any of this? There's really no point to it by the way that it was structured to be. The states is supposed to determine what their issues are and pass their laws accordingly when they can enforce them. Federal
See, up
was only
here-
supposed to be the blanket cover for emergency situations, like big things. I don't
up here,
think a kid vaping in a skate park shouldn't have. The federal government should not even care about it or know about it. It all came down to First Lady's kid got a hold of a vape. I'm sorry, punish whoever was
That's the
involved in getting
parents.
that. Whoever was involved in that chain of getting that vape into that kid's hands,
But all
punish
that,
them.
whether it's what's the president's child or whoever, it's the parents' fault, not the. Why are we paying for what the parents do?
Yep.
You're a lousy parent. You're a lousy parent. There should be a billboard from one end of the country to the other. If you're not a good parent, it's on you. It's not on me.
Punish the adults for what the kid did.
Exactly. It's on you.
Yeah,
But-
it's unfortunate that it works that way, but that's why I don't know. The federal government feels like it's starting to try to become a nanny, and they're not supposed to be. That was never the way it was designed here. It was not designed for them to be a nanny. It was designed for
That's
them to only
happening
deal
everywhere.
with the big stuff, while the states dealt with the smaller stuff.
That's happening everywhere. That's happening up here, and both levels, the federals and provincial, they're playing off each other, you know. So they kind of like skate around losing votes. So they don't want to come out as super strong against anything because they lose votes. So they all play, oh, we're doing it because of the feds. And the feds say, well, the provinces want to do it. And the same thing in the United States. You got your federal government and your state government. They're doing the same thing. And they're all protecting, at the end of the day, they're all protecting tobacco revenue.
Yeah, Addy, I plan on doing the same thing if it ever stopped raining. Going out shooting, target practicing. It's a good way to blow off steam if you're shooting at targets. If you're hunting, it's a nice relaxing hobby in most cases. Unless you're Tam's husband when he doesn't get a deer, because then it's not relaxing. Now it's actually, he has PTSD for this last hunting season. But for next hunting season, maybe he'll get one and he'll have that nice relaxing, soothing feeling because he got one. So, but yeah, we do these kind of things, and in our own constitution, it says that we should be able to be armed as well as those. If you're going to get into that freedom, you're supposed to be able to get whatever the government can have to protect yourself against the government if you need to. And if you guys haven't noticed, that might sound absurd, but do we really 100% think our government's 100% on board with what we want or need? No.
How are you going to do that? At the end of the day,
at the end of the day, they got it. They got so much stuff
exactly.
hidden from us. It's not even funny.
Well, even if it's not hidden, what are you going to do? Even if you have an AK-47, Mach 10, whatever weapon you have at home, the government shows up with a tank, you wouldn't even scratch the paint.
Wouldn't scratch paint. They send a drone strike to you. If you're in a rural location, you're done.
Yeah.
They're out of drone.
You wouldn't even know what hit you.
It would never even make the news because they wouldn't even have to say. They'd say, "Well, I don't know. He must have tried to blow something up. It blew himself up. There's an explosion of some type, making a homemade
gas
dynamite."
explosion. He was a meth cooker.
Yeah, you'd never know. No way to prove it. So in the end, they're always going to have the better toys anyway. Punish the individual, not the masses.
Exactly.
Someone does something wrong, punish them.
But I mean, that's all over the place, though. Not to be on one side or the other, but some districts they won't teach sex education, but they ban abortions. So, what do you think's going to happen? Kids don't know. They're just reacting to the raging hormones, But you won't provide birth control. What do you think's going to happen?
Well, that's again beliefs, personal choices. There's some religions, and if you're a part of that religion, that believes
and that's fine.
That you should not have birth control. That's your belief,
fine.
Your choice.
But keep it to yourself. Don't make it so everybody else has to follow your beliefs. Right?
I mean, if you believe that and you believe that it's a sin, then let God deal with it. In that situation.
Let God make a judgment if you believe in God.
I mean, state your statement. Yes, make your statement. But as far as the law goes, that's not really shouldn't be up to them. It should be up to them.
I mean, a prime minister a long time ago in Canada said the state has no place in the bedroom, and he was right. The state does not have a place in the bedroom.
Oh, that's tough, Fee. Endangered species that have been no, that's a little different. I believe in New York does a good job. Addie can attest for this as well. Game management, proper game management to ensure the survival of the species in a decent abundance. And if anything, sometimes New York actually lets it go a little overboard with the animals. But I'd prefer that over, not having them there for future generations. So that's a different situation because you said something about giraffe or elephant hunting. No, because it's preserving the species. And
if you shoot something, you should eat it. What the hell are you going to do with a giraffe or whatever, a lion, let's say? You're not going to eat a lion unless you're starving, right? I mean,
I think the elephant's actually a better example of that. Yeah. I mean, you're going to really cart out an entire elephant and use every...
Exactly. I mean, but it's common sense, and common sense is not very common anymore. And I mean, the only reason we have to manage game is because we've upset the natural balance.
Again, this is not a federal thing. You don't want the federal government dealing with it. The endangered species maybe, but as far as like managing game is better off like in the United States for states to do it because they know what's in their area that needs to be protected and what doesn't. But have someone properly manage it because I will say Vermont did not do a good job, but we do not have the deer here that I expected to have here when I moved here from New York. It was way over hunted for way too many years. Still is.
Really? Wow.
Yeah.
Because across the border into Quebec, there's more deer than people.
The northern part of the state still is okay, but like
Yeah.
you get anywhere down to the bottom 2/3, no, the deer are
Well-
very, very sparse.
But isn't like southern Vermont more populous than the north? It is, right?
It is, yeah.
Yeah.
Still, there's some rural areas like my place. I mean, I got this one hunter that's mad at me because I won't let him hunt on my property, but I haven't hunted on my property either because I've seen how bad this deer population is, especially after I had that mountain lion coming through. The
Right.
deer population went down to like almost nothing. There's hardly any here. I didn't want to kill the only deer that are here that are populating. So this is a safe haven for now. If they start getting overkill, well, I'm hunting first, but then I might consider letting someone in. But right now they're not. And I think that they're overhunted here. I know what it's like in upstate New York, and there it might be a little bit the other way occasionally. But if there's a hard winter, that's a different story. When there's hard winters, they actually change it and send out less doe tags the next year. That's, maintaining for your future generations. Yeah, to mount it on a plaque or to get ivory, no, that's not hunting. That's trophy hunting.
Yeah.
I'm not a real big fan of trophy hunting, and I get it to some degree. There's going to be some of it, but
I'm against
And
trophy hunting.
if on my personal belief, yes, I'm against it. But if there's plenty of the game out there and the trophy hunting is a thing in that area, if you're not putting something into, endangered list or working toward that, then it should be a choice, I guess. It's just not my choice. You obviously don't agree with smoking, but I still think it should be a choice.
No, but not. There's so many ways to look at stuff like that. Smoking is your choice, yes, but not at the expense of a safer alternative, which is the case right now. Because
not at the expense. I think that smoking should still be a choice if you choose to smoke, but it should be laid out there that there is a safer alternative that actually tastes a hell of a lot better too.
Yeah, but the government forbade us from saying that.
I know.
In Canada, a vape store cannot say that vaping is a safer alternative to smoking. They can't to advocate it as a way to quit smoking. It's completely illegal.
Yeah, the vape shop can't tell you that either. Not at the vape shops here.
And up here, you're not in. And every province is different, but in Quebec,
Which is where
not
I
even-
step. Which is where I step in as a regular in there when I go in there. I can say whatever I want because I don't work here. So,
yeah.
yeah.
It's
To the
nuts.
point where I've talked to enough people in there that a lot of times they think I work there. But it doesn't help. I'm behind the counter half the time hanging out. But, well, good people. And that's just it. A good community. And a brick and mortar shop, I think that is one thing that we're seeing more push for in certain areas. I think Canada already has that, right? Brick and mortar shops only for the most part, or at least they're trying to go that way.
No, there's a lot of disposables at corner stores, and there's the problem because there's this son of a bitch right next door to me, like 50 feet from me. That guy would sell anything to anybody. He doesn't give a shit. Okay. Because I've walked in there and I've told the guy right to his face. I said, I don't want you selling alcohol to my wife. She's an alcoholic. The fuck, he doesn't care.
It is completely fee. It is tricky, and that's why you need someone in charge of that really understands it. And I will say, even here in the States, different states do not do a good job managing with animals. And as far as the corner store thing, I do think wherever cigarettes available, there should be a vape available. I agree with that. But just like the cigarettes are illegal and you can lose your tobacco license, they should be on the same docket. You lose your license to sell both if you get caught.
Yeah, because this guy
That would
next
help
to
a
me,
lot.
he doesn't care. He'd sell anything to anybody. He doesn't care. He'll sell alcohol to underage kids. He doesn't care. He'll sell vapes to underage kids. Doesn't care.
Oh man, Tom, if that ever starts, I'm not even gonna let you know.
I'm amazed that no one taking a shot at that guy.
That's
He
what I'm
must have
saying.
some.
That shows you the vape community is a
Yeah,
peaceful community because we haven't seen any of these people taken out. He's still there. Cuomo's still alive.
he must
You
have
still have Baker
wicked.
still there. Yeah,
He must have wicked security around him.
I don't know. I just, to me, he's like the devil incarnate. Not just for the vape. You watch him and the things he stands for. He stands for just whatever he chooses.
Yep.
I mean, it kind of reminds me of like the invasion going on right now. It's an older guy who wants a legacy, wants something to go, has nothing to lose.
Look at what
Same
he's
thing.
done.
The difference is instead of a country he runs, he's got a lot of money.
Yep.
That's it.
And that's part of that's our fault because we've built these people up, that these crazy wealthy people, as being good people. They're this, they're that. They're not. They got to be where they are by screwing everybody they could in every way they could, changing, getting powerful enough to be able to change laws to benefit them, benefit their businesses. So
I want feedback from people the next show or next show you come on. I want to hear whether or not talking about this is helping your anxiety or not. Because I know it doesn't help at the time, but sometimes it does help to get it out. You do need to release anxiety. That's always important too. You need to release your tensions. And this is something that I'm not good at. And there's like I'm actually kind of surprised. We did a really good job. And I think Addie being there was a big part of it for the advocacy and gathering meeting, because sometimes any combination of us, me, Nick, or Logan, we get really worked up.
I would love to get everyone together and go out for a nice steak dinner. That would be really cool. That would be really cool. Spend time with Addie. Oh, I'd love to do that. I'd just
We had
love
a
to do
really nice dinner at a Mexican restaurant on the second DC trip, and Tom was there. I got to hang out with Tom for a little bit. So that was first time meeting Tom face to face, and that was a really. It is. It's nice. It feels like family. It really
It would be
does.
amazing. It would be truly amazing.
Lethal was there too. I think I saw Lethal in chat tonight. Yeah. We had a really good time, and we even have a picture of me riding in the back of the between my old co-host John Lightbearer and my other old co-host Tuna, riding in the middle of this Escalade between the two middle seats. I'm on the floor. Logan Exhales was there. He had his feet in my back trying to curl up as small as he could. Two more people beside him, and we had two people, Lethal, I think, and someone else were in a trunk. And the trunk part of it. We drove to that dinner. And guess what? The tires were squealing and rubbing on the corner. It was a little scary where I was at. I realized if we went over, I wasn't going to survive this. So, yeah, we might have been trying to go for harm reduction, but I'm not sure we did a good job on harm reduction for that ride. I was just saying. There's a picture somewhere of it. Oh, just insane. Was it? Yeah. It was we got to do calisthenics with Logan at the second rally. I mean, I want to see more rallies again. I want to see people gather again. We need to start making a show. Like we're talking about possibly, and it's going to be difficult. So I can't promise this will happen, but we're looking into like across the country, like within the same day, on the same day, have rallies. You know, instead of having to travel long distances to get to one big rally, have 3 or 4 or 5 or 6 smaller rallies in big cities at key locations, and actually make because remember Hands Across America, even our Hands Across the Globe, it became, I think, eventually. It started as a small thing, but because it became, even though there were breaks in the link, obviously, there were still like large lengths of this going on, and it gets noticed. That's something that might show up in the news. We need news exposure from the positive side. Yeah, Tom was one of the ones in the trunk. That's right. Tom was one of the ones in the trunk. I think it was you and Lethal in the trunk. I can't remember who was in the back seat exactly. And oh, I can see the faces too. Still talk to him. Yeah, Papa John, Papa Smurf, and then oh, Beard. I can't think of, but we were all in that SUV, and that was went out to dinner, had a good time, relaxed.
Hound.
Hound, that's it. Yep, Hound did it. Yeah, we had a good time, and that's what this community really matters about. We see it when we get together in the different Zooms. I get together, and I'm in a lot of the after shows, and we just hang out and visit and have a good time. And you know, it's funny. I think sometimes the best mixing advice happens after the shows. I quite often learn a lot after the show's finished.
Oh, it's incredible how much I learned from watching all you guys. Even just little things that makes all the difference.
Yeah. It's the little things that you got to keep track of, and flavors that you hear repeatedly over and over that you know people use that have been around a while. Those are the ones I take significant note and make sure I write down. Because that's what I was doing before to get myself a nice base to get started, and watched for a while before I actually bought all my stuff, because I was like, okay, I'm seeing them use a lot of this. Everybody's using this. I've been using this for longer than this isn't a new release anymore. And they're still using it. And those are the ones that I take note of and try to get a hold of. As well as like now being involved with everybody on the different shows. I got Tam and Liam and Zippy and these people in my ear like, hey, oh, and Graham. And I'll be in my ear like, yeah, I'll help you with that list. Lumi's done that before to me. Larry's done that quite a few times with the alcohols. And actually he hasn't steered me wrong yet either. But that
He's got some great recipes, Larry. Eh?
He really, really does.
Really, I've been looking at all his recipes. Amazing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when he left it going. Yeah, Trucker left his stream going after the show, and they were talking. They were just kept going, and he was live the whole time. Yeah, I remember that one. I was watching that one, and it was funnier because they weren't watching chat. Chat was letting them know, but they weren't watching chat because they thought the show was over. Because he never said he had shut it off. I think he knew. He kind of played it off like he kind of didn't know, but I think he completely knew. He's just getting it go because he's like, well, I didn't tell him I shut it off. Let's see how far they'll go.
That was very. I watched the tribute to him. That was, you know what, that was very impressive. For the whole world to get together for one person, that is impressive.
I just wish it were for the original reason, to help him with his bills. That was what it's originally for.
Yeah. He didn't make it, though. Right?
It went fast. Everything just escalated. It went from helping him with his bills, helping him with his comfort, to he wasn't even there by the time we were done. We're helping with funeral expenses. And that's the thing we got to realize. Even if you transition, the damage might already be done, or maybe it might not even be something that actually was caused by your smoking. Could be something else. Hereditary.
I have no illusions. I smoked for 43 years. It's coming. At least between the time I quit to the time, if it ever happens, I have a way better quality of life.
Exactly. That's the key. The quality of life after.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, God, the difference between when I was smoking and now. I mean, I still have a little cough, but nothing compared to what I was. Nothing.
Damn, I wondered about that myself. Yeah. But, yeah, there's some great people we have lost in the community. We have some great people still in the community. Addie, I don't think anybody in the vaping community, if they don't know who you are, then
they've been living under a rock.
They're living under a rock. Yeah. The hashtag Be More Like Addie movement still needs to keep going till the end of time. Because, that's the embodiment of what we should always shoot for. Being kind to one another. You don't have to agree with everyone on everything you say. That's never a thing. You wouldn't be human if you didn't disagree.
It's not possible. How can you agree with everything? It's impossible.
You didn't give anybody a hard time, Fee. You just pointed out things that you were thinking about, and that's fine. And got people thinking about us talking and thinking about other things as well. It's all important, and it's important to you, then it's important to us. That's the type of community I want to be around. Is the community that cares about. Like I said, if someone wants to go back to smoking, say they have a valid reason for it, it's really hard for them to do it, and they're talking about it. If that's what they have to do, that's what they want to do, support it. Also try and talk them out of it, but that doesn't mean it's just my opinion to try and help them talk them out of it. But at the same time, if they choose that, that's their choice, and that should always be their option.
Right.
And that's the way I view life. Helping anyone, even if it's something I don't. I mean, if vaping suddenly gets saved tomorrow and I don't have to advocate for vaping anymore because it's like they finally got over their whole stint and they're like, okay, we're good with it now, I'll find something else. There'll always be something to advocate for. That's why I picked an advocate for liberty, not an advocate for vape, because there will be something to stand up for.
You'll always have a job with mental health, that's for sure. As long as there's humans, there's going to be mental health issues. And more so as time goes on, because we're put under more and more and more pressure.
And most of the people here tonight, if not all, I mean, the ones that are speaking up anyway, are of the vape community. So yes, we directly hear that. But if you're someone here that has something else that you're really passionate about, remember, I'm here for you as well. As well as here for you if you need, someone to talk to because of something else going on. I was my family's therapist for years, a bit long before this ever happened. I mean, to the point where I actually became a therapist for a while. But that was therapist for them long before that happened. And that's just the way it goes. I mean, you just have to be kind, listen, and don't judge. Try not to judge. Even if you have a personal opinion on somebody and what's going on or what their problem is, let them be them. Don't tell them you can't be that way. Don't do that. That's the worst thing you can do to anyone, is tell them they can't be themselves. And it's tough because we have our own opinions, but you got to sometimes do your best to put yourself in their shoes and try and see through their colored glasses what they want and what their goals are, because you're not going to help them to make them into you. That's doing the same thing everybody else is trying to do to them.
I mean, I have nothing but respect for therapists that deal with mental health issues and various crises. I mean, I try not. I get really emotional. But 2 years ago, my cousin's husband, he passed away, and this man, he was a therapist for it had to be 30 years, and I had nothing but respect for this man. When everyone was running in the opposite direction, he was running towards a crisis. And one of the things he worked on was the AIDS babies. Oh. No one wanted anything to do with the AIDS babies. And he was right there.
Yeah, I can say when I was in EMT, that was one of the hardest parts too. Yeah. I lived in farm country. Farm accidents happened all the time. It's when the kids are involved that's a problem. Yeah. We've got some horror stories of that. I don't want to get into tonight because that actually is a very emotional thing. Yeah. That's a totally separate show. But I mean, watch some of the older shows. There's some of it on there. But we went through a lot and seen some kids that got into places they shouldn't have. People letting kids ride on tractors. I know it sounds like just, it's my buddy.
Oh God!
If you don't have them strapped in, they fall off. They get ran over. It happens.
Even if they're strapped in, the older tractors, they turn turtle all the time.
Yep, exactly. It's dangerous. You have woman screaming at you to help her husband, and her husband's been wrapped around a PTO shaft for an hour and a half.
Oh, Jesus Christ! Oh my God!
Then the PTO shaft's been running the whole time. It's
that's like when you hear stories about the train workers pinned between two cars, and they're alive, but they're not going to be alive the moment the cars are uncoupled. And there was a story here, and a friend of mine worked with him, and they called his wife. They brought his wife to the train yard because he wasn't going to survive. He was literally coupled between the links.
The cars were holding them together.
Exactly. Exactly. So his wife, they said goodbye, and when they uncoupled, it was gone. He was gone.
One thing is, you got to understand, in that situation, your organs are already gone. You're slowly fading, even if you're not going to live.
There's no
when
way
they
to,
release that, you have no diaphragm anymore. Your diaphragm just lets out. You have no way to
Everything.
breathe.
everything.
That's
You're gone.
yeah.
Yeah.
That's what the iron lung is about. That's keeping that pressure on the diaphragm, and
Yeah.
that's something you can't do instantaneously. So there's
No. No.
yeah.
I don't. Oh yeah, that's.
I don't want to get
sad.
into that too much
No,
because
no.
it is sad.
Let's get away
It's
from
sad.
that. Let's get
Yeah.
away from
Let's
that.
go.
I
Yeah.
don't want. I don't want to see the world have the world see me cry.
Yeah, I'm feeling it too. Just thinking about some of the things I've seen. Yeah. But that's it. I've always wanted to help people in any way I could. This is a way I can help people that I can maintain. I'll be honest. That was tough for me to the point where one child accident was actually kind of when I decided I needed to finish up the time I'd already promised, and then I walked away because, yeah, it's just, do what you can to help. If you can and you have that ability in any way to help someone, it will be unique in many cases. It might be something you don't think, well, maybe people don't need that, and they will. Maybe you're the crazy person. Maybe you're the Duchess of the world, Duchess Coils of the world. You're a little out there, but yet you have this unique sarcasm to you that someone else gets, and it helps them to feel better. I'm one of those people that actually Duchess is helped by that way because of his sarcasm. And, you might not think because, I'm just sarcastic, I'm an asshole. You might actually be the perfect person to talk to someone, depending on the person. Everybody has a unique gift. Everybody is capable of helping one another. Yeah, Green Mile was a hard one for me, Fee. Like, saw that movie, bought the DVD at the time when it first came out, saw the movie, gave it to my mother-in-law, said, nope, I'm never watching this again.
Yeah, that was tough.
Yeah. It's like all that guy did was help everybody, and they just,
Yeah.
no. Yeah.
I wonder how many people out in the world were just like that. Maybe not with the supernatural aspect, but just doing the right thing and just getting shit on every time.
Unfortunately, that is a truth of the fact of, like, we talk about like minorities in different areas and stuff like that,
Yep.
or the lower income areas.
Right. 100%.
That happens all the time, stuff
Yep.
like that, where they get, we just need to pin it on someone. Oh, that guy's gonna go, and it
Yep.
turns out it could have been anybody. Might have been someone that
Yep.
didn't even live near that area. You never know, or
Yep.
could have been someone that had money that just came in there and just wanted to mess with them.
And
You don't
the
know.
problem is that by the time it's all sorted out, a lifetime has gone by, and someone spent a lifetime in jail for no reason. And no matter what amount of money is given to them, quite often nothing is given. That doesn't. How do you give back 20, 30 years to someone?
And then they come out, they actually are criminals because they've learned to
yeah.
be one. They
Exactly.
had to survive.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they had the distaste for society because society failed them.
Yep.
Yeah. You can turn a good person bad by doing by
oh
just
yeah, I don't
accusing.
care who. You could put Mother Teresa in Supermax. She's not coming out a nun. She's gonna come out a psychopath because what choice do you have?
Yeah, not everybody's Yodel. Do you know the reference? Yodel was one of the Yoda species. One of the few that's known in the canon thing. Was put in prison, pretty much tortured for years and years and years. Came out and forgave. Everybody still stayed to the light side, never turned dark, despite all that. Still forgave the people that had captured her and helped them rebuild once their leadership was taken down.
Wow.
Not everybody is like that. Not everybody is capable of that. So,
No, I wouldn't be. 100%, I wouldn't be. And it's so easy. It is so easy. You're at the wrong place at the wrong time. You're not part of the in-peep clique. And unfortunately, I mean, society is warped. That's all I got to say.
society in general is cattle being led. And
Yep.
that's where Bloomberg's so dangerous. He is leading because he's got control of a lot of the media, the main media.
Yep.
That actually puts you in such a powerful position. It's not even necessarily his money. It's his control over media. And
Well,
his
look
money, he can throw at things too. It's like, that's a double whammy. I mean, it's really tough when you're going against something that diabolical. We do
Well-
have a modern day supervillain, and nobody
You-
sees it.
Look at Ivali. You know, the whole world instantly thought within days that vaping kills kids. Period.
They still do, because Ivali still hasn't been properly retracted publicly, not to in the limelight where it should have been. It should have been retracted as much force and outward
Yeah,
pushing as it was put into there.
we all agree on that, and we all know that'll never happen.
Nope. Popcorn lung
All
hasn't
the
even been. Popcorn lung's still like spread around
still
constantly. It's like
bantered around.
that was debunked how long ago?
Even Ivali, that idiot Dr. Phil, he had it right behind him on that show that was anti-vaping, right there. So I mean, and I all the stay-at-home moms and everyone like that watching that bullshit and just eating it up. So
Yep.
you know,
She's
all,
reminding me that I've been on here a long time. I got a show tonight still. So we'll wrap this
okay.
up soon. This wasn't supposed to be an advocacy session. Sorry, guys. Can't help it. I've been very advocacy minded lately. I'm just trying to think of ways that we can be more proactive. And the hardest part is that's the truth of it. We need to be seen. In order to be seen, we need to be gathering at least in some groups at some point. Individually, we can all be dismissed. Maybe not if you can show up to a live hearing, if that's the case, and you do have a hearing or something going on and you are capable of getting to it, go there, sign up to speak if you can. Make sure you don't have to sign up ahead of time because that's a possibility. I got lucky enough to speak at the New Hampshire hearing just because of an M-Turk bottle that had a label on it that they wanted to see, and they let me speak. Changed the tide of that meeting and stopped it at that time just because of an M-Turk bottle. So there. Thank M-Turk for that because he was just as involved as I was. I might have said it and done it, but that holding up that bottle changed like literally everything. Because we got there and I found out you had to pre-sign up to speak. The ones that spoke were, I'm sorry, just if you're going to a hearing just to hear yourself speak and not really say anything, let someone else speak. Let them have the time because you're going to take time away from someone who can actually say something more important. Take your time. Make sure you have enough to fill the time you're speaking too. And try to feel the room. I know it sounds like a lot. It is a lot, but standing up there and just saying I vape and I don't like this is not going to really sway too many minds unless you have like 500 people going to be able to do the same thing, because that's just a person's opinion. And you need to tell your story a little bit as best you can. A nice short version. You can do that in a few minutes. You can shorten it up. Explain to, like, couldn't breathe before. Look at how much I can breathe now. I can do stuff. I can play with my kids. I can play with my cousin's sister. And go out to dinner and stuff. Walk upstairs. Let them know this stuff. That's what they need to hear. That's something you can do as an individual. And be noticed at least for individual hearings. But that's also something that's above and beyond some people, and I get it. And tonight's episode was perfect for that because anxiety definitely is a factor in this. I had spaghetti legs after that day. I had to go sit down. I got a better talk in the hall with the lead speaker for the bill in the hallway, sitting down, because then he realized I wasn't working for a company, than I did in the room. So you never know what can happen at any point in time. You know, never give up. Keep together. Keep caring about one another. Yeah, 17. Yeah, 21-year-old here. I understand that, Fee. Keep going. I will see you guys, hopefully some of you on Saturday. Matt Sinister will be here with me. We're going to go about a little bit more of the behind the scenes of what people go through, the pro wrestlers we watch, and see the things they went through. This actually was brought about, obviously, from the passing of recently of Razor Ramon. But it's not the only thing. It's like what they went through. He had been clean and sober. That was a big stress in his life. Unfortunately, it was after that everything went downhill. But there's a lot of mental health things that go on behind the scenes. You have a life on the road like that. And I'm not going to get deep into it. I'm going to let Matt explain it more than me because he knows much better than I do because he's lived the life. He's actually had some of the issues that they've had. And it's things you got to understand it. No, even though it looks like a glamorous life, doesn't it? I mean, when you watch it on screen, you're watching like pro wrestling, you're like, these guys are cool. I would like to live. I'd love to be in a ring and be able to do that. It's not always. Sometimes
No.
what you see is not always what you really get. You got to remember what happens when they're not in the ring. On
It
camera.
never is. What you see is never the reality.
And that's what we're going to dive into a little bit and pay respects to those that are gone. As well as tonight, I want to thank the community for what they have done, for everyone who has helped each other in this community, in the Discords, in chats, individually, or in any way, shape, or form, or the people that get put together, like for the charity streams and stuff like that, or any other mental health streams of their own or whatever. Who's it? Apathy every day, putting out his thing on Facebook. Apathy Miller. These things matter. You see that and you don't think it's much, but if you see it every day, you start to think, okay, yeah, all right. You can start to feel that connection, and that connection is sometimes the thing that saves you from going a little too dark, to be able to reach out. And that's when things get scary, and I don't want anybody to have to deal with that if I can help it. So that said, you have a good night, and this is some music from Adam Larzik. Thank him again every single time, because I love having a little bit of, cover music rather than having to play just generic, tones and tunes. So yeah, this will be Adam on the way out. You guys have a great night. I will see some of you on Saturday. What in a Horror podcast will be up this weekend. It's a couple really good movies, so enjoy. And good night. Thank you, Dave, for being here tonight.
Thank you,
And-
Tim. It was a
And
pleasure.
for Chris for coming in with that great news. Good night. Bye, everybody.
Bury me softly